Hey guys, how you doing? I know there's a lot of teacher buzz going around about Zoom bombing, and it's scary, and someone could take over your computer and your screen and show porn to children and things. I'm not saying that's nothing to worry about. I'm just saying here's some tips you could do so you could ease your mind a little bit and feel comfortable before you start going out there in front of the world. So here's what we're gonna do. We have to clarify a few things. So first, I'm going to be on the Zoom website once I'm already logged in, and think of it like global settings. Like these will change all the settings in Zoom for every single meeting I make. Then there's some settings we could do where it's for individual meetings and it would change every time, so you'd have to remember to change it. So I'm doing global ones first, so that way it'll be set in stone. Now, if you do this and you don't like some of them, you'll have to go back into those settings and change them, because again, it would stay for all the meetings. All right, I'm going to go super fast. And again, with video, remember you could rewind, pause, do it. I suggest even have your little split screen, two windows open. One window watching this video or just on your phone, and then the other video having your Zoom settings open so you could just scroll with me as we go, because then you could be clicking as we go. So check it out. I'm in our Zoom, I'm in our settings, I'm just in scheduling a meeting right here, and let's go ahead and go on down. Now, personal meeting ID. I don't suggest using this one because what that does is it gives you a personal ID for every single meeting in the world you make. It's the same ID. So if a bad guy gets that, then that means they're going to have that meeting ID for every single time you make a meeting, and you're like, oh no, they're back again, right? So I don't suggest that one, but for ease, yes, it would make it easier if you had the same one every time, but I'm not doing that either. All right, require a password when scheduling new meetings. That makes sense, because if bad guys don't have a password, they can't get into your meeting, right? So let's see, same thing, require a password for instant meetings. Embed a password. Now, this is cool, because if you have that clicked on, then when a kid clicks on your link, they're automatically going into your meeting. They do not need a password because the password is in the link. But then for trolls, if they got that link, then they're automatically in your meeting too. So it kind of depends, and think about your age group. Do you want to make it super easy for your kids, one click, or are you worried about your kids or someone else sharing that link to everyone else in the world, and now anyone can hop in your meeting? So think about which way you might want to do it. All right, same thing. You could require a password for anyone joining by phone. So if they're using a phone, they have to put in a password. You could do that. You could mute participants upon entry. So maybe you just want silence when someone comes in. That could be a good idea, right? If 30 kids get in the room at the same time, maybe you want them all muted first. Now let's go ahead and check. Some people will be worried about chat. Now think about what you want in yours. Maybe you're really worried and you're like, I don't want any student to chat. No chat whatsoever, because chat is typing in, not speaking. It's the typing. Or maybe you want to prevent participants from saving, so you don't want kids saving those conversations. You could put that on. Or maybe you like to have chat because chat could be with everyone in one big stream that everyone could read. Maybe you're just worried about private chat, so maybe you don't want to have any private chat. So clicking this would allow you to have private chat so a kid could speak to another kid, so that way it's not clogging up the feed. So think about what you might want. Do you want to auto save chat? So then maybe you're like, in case something bad happens in that chat, I'm going to have it all saved for documentation. You could put that on. I play a sound when someone joins and leaves, and only I hear that sound. So that way it tells me, hey, someone came in, boop, I'll look in that top corner and I'll see new participants, and I'll be able to see who's coming in. So if someone came in, then I'd be like, wait, who is that person? And then I would know. Maybe you're worried about file transfer. You don't want a bad file being put up on there, or maybe you're not sure, kind of thing. Well, then you could just turn it off so no one could share a file, and you wouldn't have to worry about that then. Let's go ahead, go down further. Allow host to put attendee on hold. You could temporarily remove an attendee. So you're like, timeout, boop. You could boop a kid on timeout, I suppose, right? Or just anyone if someone did sneak in your meeting by some way. Now, screen sharing, this is what people are worried about from what I hear. So it's like, someone's going to come in and start showing porn and bad images or violent, scary things on the screen. Well, that's only if you allow screen sharing. So check it out. You could disable screen sharing for everyone and no one could share a screen. But If you want, you could just do it where only the host, and you are the host, only the host can share your screen. So you wouldn't have to worry about anything bad being shown because no one could show anything because only the host could do it. So you could share your screen. Maybe you want to disable the desktop or only allow certain programs to share. Maybe you're worried about that. Maybe you're like, kids are drawing inappropriate pictures on the whiteboard. You can't trust that kind of thing. Well, you could not have a whiteboard and not enable that also. But again, these are things that just you could use on your own if you want and not allow anyone else to use if you're worried about that. Allow removed participants to rejoin. So maybe, if someone got in, you kicked them out, you could make it so they can or cannot join again. Maybe you don't want them to be able to join anymore. So we could go ahead and keep going on here. Now, waiting room, this is the one I like the most here. So here's what you do. You click waiting room on, and this will change for every meeting. So there's always a waiting room. So here's what happens. When someone wants to join your meeting, they'll come up in your participant list and you have to allow them. So there's no way anyone's going to get in your meeting unless you allow them in. So you could make a rule with your students and say, the only way I'm going to allow you in a meeting is if you write your name up there. So then you see the kid's name, you will allow them in, and then they could come on in. So of course, someone could, use someone else's name or trick you somehow and kind of thing. But again, you could always just kick someone out if they did get in. But this waiting room will have you approve everyone one at a time as you go. Now, you could do this slowly, you could do it quickly, but if you approved them one at a time, you could see, oh yeah, that's my kid, and you could see them as you go. So this is a super safe way that I like doing it on this one as well. Now, it looks like pretty much nothing else you need down there. And again, those are global settings, so it'll change for every meeting. So once you set it and you like it, you're always safe. You don't have to worry anymore. Now, when you're in the program, though, you can also have just settings for that one meeting. So check it out. If I click new meeting, again, I could just start it off right away or use my personal one. And remember, I said probably don't want to use the personal one because someone could save that and then, that could get shared with other people. So if you have a new meeting every time and it's not using your personal one, it'll be a new kind of like code or link every time. Now, scheduling. So check this one out. So if you schedule right here, this is a pretty good one because you can have it for a certain time, and that's probably what you're going to do. Tell your kids, hey, I'll meet you at 2:30. You could schedule it. You could generate your meeting ID automatically, not using that personal one. You could require a password. And how would those, trolls get your password unless someone's sharing it out or something, right? So then, again, you could force people to have their video on right when they come in so you could see their face and be like, oh yeah, that's Johnny, I'll let him in, right? So you could go through, but here's advanced options. Here's what I like again. You could have that waiting room enabled, right? So that way you have to approve those kids. You could let kids in before you're there, but probably not, right? You don't want chaos going on in the room before you get there, right? Like class, quiet down. So maybe you don't want that. You could mute people on entry right there again. And you could automatically record your meeting on the computer. That's a pretty good one because maybe you're worried about something happening, you want documentation, then your whole thing could be saved. So if anything did happen, you have it all saved. You're like, see what little Johnny did right here, and it's all saved. So hopefully these tips help for you guys. If you need any other help, just go ahead and ask. See you later.